If you own apartments, hotels, or rentals, being pet friendly isn't helping your business the way you think it is. Today, we're breaking down exactly how it works. Pamela, who is head of partnerships, works directly with properties navigating this every single day at PetsVivo. Pamela, welcome. A lot of properties call themselves pet friendly, but from your perspective and your experience, what does that actually mean today, and why isn't that enough anymore?
Well, pet friendly is becoming a little bit more of an outdated term, believe it or not. So now we refer to pet inclusivity. So what really is the difference? When we talk about pet friendly, that often really implies that the property tolerates pets. That maybe they stick a water bowl out for it, or maybe they have a dog bone on hand, but they're not really recognizing that the vast majority of pet parents include their pets as part of their family. About 98% actually refer to their pets as part of their family. So it's very
I know
critical
I do.
that yeah, exactly, exactly, and it's very critical that businesses, housing, hotels, travel, that they're recognizing this trend. Anytime we can recognize that emotional tie and we're including pets, now we're creating loyalty. We're going beyond just pet friendly. So this is a differentiation that is becoming more and more critical.
So, from your side, what do you see happening when a property actually does it right, the way you're describing it, right? Up leveling it in this sense. What changes for the business, for the people that are either residents of the building or if it's a hotel, the people that are visiting guests? What changes for them? For everyone, really.
Yeah. I mean, as a pet parent, you know when somebody is not a dog person or maybe they're not a cat person. It's very obvious, right? Just in everyday interactions. And that's very obvious with businesses too, with hotels and with housing. So when they're genuinely welcoming and inclusive, that shows in everything from the onboarding process to welcoming them, specifically with amenities. Right. So, going back to the water bowl, right? I know that my dog is maybe tolerated, but when let's say we're out at a restaurant and the server brings your dog a special little treat, well, now it feels more like an experience, and you're creating that loyalty and that bond, that relationship. Pets create bonds not just with us and our pets, but with other people too. So that genuine inclusivity and welcoming really shows through in those little things, particularly amenities.
And I've got to think that that genuine touch really shows up in bookings and retention because they get the feels, right? So
Yeah,
I'm going to want to come back there.
exactly. So we're creating that again, going back to that family. Our pets are family. So when a business is including your family and recognizing that, oh, this is a genuine part of your family, you do create that loyalty and experience. So retention is going to be huge. You're going to see that in your numbers. If you're a hotel, you're going to see those repeat bookings over a hotel that perhaps is not inclusive and not going that extra mile to provide the amenities, to provide those little touches that recognize that emotional bond.
So if we use the word curated, curated experience, what does that look like in real life? Like not buzzwords, what are properties actually doing differently? Like these little tactical, not even tactical, but real life, you can see it, it's happening. This is their process, this is their flow, this
Yeah.
is what they provide. What does that look like specifically?
Yeah. So let's take housing, for instance. Excuse me. So housing, a property that's truly inclusive will will not be having heavy breed restrictions. They're going to provide amenities like washrooms. They're going to have waste stations and bags around the property. They're going to have welcome kits. We do this at Pets Vivo very frequently. It's a huge hit. Just those little touches that show that they're not just tolerated, but they're very welcome. In hotels, very similar, but it's going to really start at the booking process. So when we book at a hotel, oftentimes you don't even know that you have to research what the pet policy is, and then it's hit or miss if you go to the front desk and they may ask if you have a pet, they may not. And so this results in a lot of people sneaking pets in because there's no return on that investment for the fee that they're paying, right? So there's no reason for them to come forward about having a pet stay there. But a hotel that's very inclusive and is providing those amenities is gonna provide that ROI for the pet parent. They're gonna be paying that fee, and they're gonna be happy to pay that fee because they know they're gonna get things like a welcome box, or perhaps we offer dog TV to guests as well. So if their pet, often pets are anxious when they travel, right? They're in a new location, and that can result in things like barking or other undesirable behaviors. So, providing an amenity like dog TV in the room or on a device for free during the stay allows that pet to have that calmness. So, it's those little touches. Maybe it's also a bed in the room. Welcome boxes have been a big hit for our hotel guests as well. It's just a little something to say we appreciate having your family here.
Yeah, and I think that's what sticks with people so much, right? I mean, it just matters. It resonates with them. It's a feeling. I kind of, we alluded to it earlier, but you know, they remember these moments, and that really does turn into loyalty. I mean, besides the warm and fuzzies,
Yeah.
it actually returns for the property owner, right? That loyalty. It actually turns into money, right? You see that? Do you have data on that? You see that happening?
Yeah, exactly. So those pet parents, if you are looking at Hotel A or Hotel B, and you know that Hotel A is going to provide you that experience with your pet, perhaps they've done so previously. It's a no-brainer. They're going to rebook with that Hotel A. And pet parents are willing to spend on luxury items as well. This is not really a new concept. And statistics show us that each travel, each travel that's booked with when a pet parent is traveling with their pet, they're spending between 250 and $400 on their pet during that travel time. So I think a lot of hotels may be a little bit hesitant to charge that fee, and they should if they're not providing that return. But know that pet parents are willing to spend. That's not the issue here. The issue here is really providing that return so that that pet fee means something. And when that means something, they're going to return. They're going to
Yeah, that
rebook
that
with the
that has been
hotel.
made really clear to me is that pet owners are super comfortable paying that premium, whatever it
Hmm.
may be. I mean, it's
Yep.
obviously within reason. It usually is within reason. Um, to have that comfort, that knowledge of knowing that the experience is going to be that much better, not only for them but
Yeah.
for their little loved pet.
We're
What
seeing that
happens?
even in food. Sorry, in
No, no, yeah.
pet parents are actually sacrificing even premium foods for themselves in favor of getting them for their pet. Um, and so it's become quite a discussion in the industry, actually. But it just demonstrates really the extent to which pet parents will go to make sure that their pets are comfortable.
So if we take another look at this from the other angle, what are properties getting wrong? Like, what's the most common mistake you're seeing properties make when they actually are trying to improve their pet experience, but maybe don't have that clear strategy, forethought, plan on how to really execute it well? What are the mistakes there that are happening?
Across the board, I would say both with housing and hotels, and even travel. We're seeing this in airlines too. Charging fees for the sake of charging fees. And a lot of businesses don't understand why they're even charging the fee. They say, well, it's because, pets cause damage. Well, statistically, across housing anyway, we're seeing that the average, it's like 9%. It's a very low percentage of pets that actually cause damage. And even when they do, the average is around 200 bucks. So we're not seeing that these fees are justified. And this has been a long-standing issue with pet parents. For example, I travel with my dog. She's a 14-pound Yorkie. I put her in her little sleepy pod carrier, and she goes right under the seat. Her ticket is usually more than mine um, when I fly with her, and she takes up one of my carry-ons. So that means I also have to buy a carry-on. So And what do we get for that experience? It's the privilege of traveling with our pet, and that's certainly there's something to be said for that. But there are no benefits commensurate with what we're spending. And we're seeing the same thing with housing, with hotels. It's just sort of an industry practice that pet parents are being charged, but there's no reason for the fee. So what we try to do at PetsVivo too is make that fee make sense. So what are they paying for? What are they getting for that fee? Whether that's amenities, peace of mind, um, insurance, all of those things we can actually look at and we can tie to those fees and make them make sense. So it's a win-win for everybody. So the hotels, the housing, they are getting still income from the fees because they are managing the pets on the property. But the pet parents are also seeing the benefit too because they're getting a return for their fee in amenities. So I
Yeah,
would say that's probably the biggest the biggest mistake that we see pet parents are sorry businesses make is not making those fees make sense and just charging them for the sake of charging them.
Yeah, you bring up a really good important point. Yes, it's nice to be able to, have access to at whatever the price may be, which with again within reason to have the experience with your pet, but to be able to also sprinkle on this, you know, huge buffet, if you will, of amenities and perks for the money that you're expending, only endears you to the client, to the customer, right, to the person, to the
Yes.
resident, to the guest, right. So as we move in that direction, how does partnerships play a part in this? When it comes to partnerships and amenities, what actually works and maybe might feel forced or not organic, but I mean, what is working in that section of offerings that people get to enjoy?
So again, it goes back to being equal to the experience, right? So when I go to the bank or the car wash, it absolutely makes sense that they might have a milk bone, and I might look at that and say, "Well, that's nice." They're providing that little amenity, but that's not going to work for a 5-star resort. So we need to make sure that when it comes to partnerships, that we're providing an experience that's on par with what the resident or the guest is paying for. So for example, in our welcome box, the last version that we did, we included a brand called Bonifilou. So these are French macaroons for dogs. They come in these adorable little boxes with gold foil lettering. Has a very luxurious feel. So when we look at partnerships with Pets Vivo, we're looking at which brands are going to provide the experience that's going to match what the pet parent is paying for. And typically those are brands that have been in the industry for some time, that communicate well, that have already processes in place for partnerships. Because partnerships, to be honest, it can be tedious. So, Pets Vivo, we're not in the business of making pet products. We're in the business of helping shape policies and pet management. We're an end-to-end solution that also includes amenities. But that means that we do rely on our partners extensively for providing that elevated experience for guests and for residents. So when I look to work with a partner, I look for partners that have the long-term capabilities. For instance, PetMate, they've been in the industry for a long time, and they've so kindly provided us with balls and toys and plushies for our welcome boxes. And this is a name brand, right, that most pet parents can recognize. So it doesn't look like, oh, I just went to the dollar store and I dumped some milk bones in a box and here you go, here's your welcome. These are thoughtfully curated welcome boxes that from brands that they know and they already have some loyalty to. So now we're tying loyalty in again, right? So when the pet parent they're going to the hotel or to their new housing, let's take hotels for example. So they probably already have some sense of loyalty to that brand, but now when we're offering them amenities and products that they're already loyal to, we're reinforcing that loyalty all over again. So we're saying, "Hey, we get you. We see you. We know your culture. We understand what you want." And so again, that reinforces loyalty.
I mean, I don't see how that's not a win-win partnership overall for everyone involved, for
Yeah,
that loyalty, because that's exactly what we want, right? We want to continue to elevate brands. We want to continue to expose our brand and get it in front of people that are, likely to want to, you know, work with us, use our services, et cetera, et cetera. So I love the mindset because yes, clearly there's a business element to Pets Vivo, but the experience, I think it just to me, it just goes again as a pet parent. I've been a pet parent since I was in my early 20s. So, I mean, we're talking about over 30 years that
yeah,
I've had consistently had a dog in my house, if not one or two. So I'm very, very close to those experiences and how I receive and acknowledge out in the outside world those companies, those hotels, those places where I can stay that make it easier for me, that make it more enjoyable for all of us, right? And again, if you're not in that fold of providing that level of service and care, and yeah, I think the answer, the word is care for those
yeah,
people coming to stay with you,
yeah,
and attention to detail. You're gonna lose. You're gonna lose some. I mean, and that really is kind of what leads me to my next question is if operators, owners, operators, hotel, operators as well, ignore this shift. And as we've clearly talked about early on, this is a shift that is continuing to grow, right? It's not like we're ignoring our pets more and more. We're doing the complete opposite. We're spending more
mhm.
money on them. We're spending more time with them. We're comfortable doing so. Um, if I'm a business owner and I'm ignoring this, what does that mean for my business moving forward?
Exactly, exactly. So going back to some stats, about 78% of pet parents travel with their pets on any given year. And that's growing. We've seen that grow year over year. So the trend is not to leave our pets behind. The trend is to include our pets. Um, and the age group that's spending the most is still about 55 to 64.
Oh,
But that's we're seeing that shift. We're seeing that younger age group, the millennials and the Gen Z, these are the ones that are buying what we might call optional or premium products for their pets. So, as a whole, they might be spending less, but that's going to trend upwards in the coming years as they grow and as their salaries grow. So they're spending on things like insurance. They're spending on supplements. They're spending on premium pet foods, and they're traveling with their pets as well. So the trend right now, even among the older generations, my generation of Gen X and even the Boomers are traveling. Yeah, they're traveling with their pets with how many pets there are just in the country, and how many renters there are. The majority actually of renters also have pets. So we can't ignore this trend. Businesses that do are going to be left behind. The differentiation is going to be how are they welcoming pets? How are they managing them? Are they being inclusive or are they merely tolerating them? So that differentiation is going to mean revenue in the next now and in the next decades.
I really look forward to adding more of these conversations in the mix. I think it's really important for people to understand kind of where we are, where the shift is going, and certainly we don't see any stop to that momentum in that direction for sure. So I think it's going to really be important for all of us to continue to share these stories. So listen, thank you so much, Pamela, for your time today. And if you're out there and if you're an owner or operator and this conversation is resonating with you, connect with Pets Vivo and follow along. And we'll keep sharing these real world examples of how properties are using it to stand out and drive better results. So thanks again, Pamela. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much.
And we'll see you all on the next one.